You're scrolling through your feed again. Another hour wasted. Another day feeling drained. And for what? Likes? Follows? A quick rush of validation that fades the moment you put your phone down. If you're tired of feeling like a slave to your social media, constantly chasing the next post, the next notification, you're not alone. In a world that thrives on instant gratification and endless content, we've forgotten how to just be. But what if I told you there's a way to break free from this digital chaos without disconnecting entirely? What if you could regain control over your time, energy, and mental peace and still stay connected to the world around you? Today, we're diving into Stoicism for social media detox. And no, this isn't about giving up social media altogether. It's about mastering it. We're going to explore the ancient philosophy that can help you take back control of your mind, stop the endless scrolling, and reclaim your focus. It's time to stop letting your emotions be controlled by every ping, like, and comment. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have practical, actionable tools that you can start using today to shift your relationship with social media and maybe even with yourself. Get ready to stop reacting to the digital noise and start living on your own terms. Let's get into it. Number 1. The digital disobedience principle. You know that little feeling of joy when you get likes on your post or a comment from someone you admire? It's like a mini rush of happiness, right? For a split second, you feel validated, recognized, seen. Maybe it's a selfie, a funny post, or a picture from a vacation. It feels good to share, and even better when the world responds with praise. Who doesn't love that instant hit of affirmation? But here's where it starts to get a little uncomfortable. How many times have you found yourself refreshing your social media feed, waiting for that notification? It could be for a new like, a comment, or someone even just following you. How many times have you felt like your entire day was determined by the number of likes your post got? It's crazy, right? We let a simple number, a fleeting digital thumbs up, decide our worth, sometimes without even realizing it. And let's be honest, many of us have become addicted to it. This is where Stoicism comes in. The core principle of Stoicism is about being in control of what you can and letting go of the rest. You see, the ancient Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, taught us that our peace of mind shouldn't depend on things outside of our control. Social media is the perfect example of something we can't truly control. It's time for a digital rebellion, a digital disobedience principle. What would it feel like to simply stop seeking approval from this digital world? Imagine logging into Instagram or Facebook without that compulsive need to scroll, post, or check who's liked what. Think about unfollowing those accounts that make you feel less than. You don't need their validation. The Stoics believed that our happiness shouldn't be based on how others perceive us. So why not apply this same mindset to social media? Remember when social media wasn't so overwhelming? It used to be about connecting with friends, sharing a funny moment, or celebrating a memory. There was a time when we didn't obsess over how many followers we had or how many people saw our latest post. It felt more innocent. You shared because it was fun, not because you were seeking validation or trying to keep up with trends. We didn't have this constant need for feedback. Doesn't that simpler time sound peaceful? It's like we've all been trapped in this game, and the goalposts keep moving further away. The more you try to hit that perfect post, the further you get from the joy that came with the original experience. It's funny how something designed to connect us has made us feel more disconnected than ever. So what happens if we disconnect from this need for validation? Imagine how free you'd feel, right? Less anxiety, less pressure to perform, less stress. What would your social media experience look like if it wasn't about likes, comments, or followers? Could you still use it to connect with people in a more genuine, fulfilling way? How different would your day feel without that constant craving for digital approval? The best part is this doesn't just improve your online life. It gives you back control over your offline life too. Number 2. The virtue of being unavailable. Think back to the last time you had a weekend or a day off with absolutely no digital distractions. Maybe you went for a hike, spent time with family, or simply sat in your backyard, enjoying the silence. Didn't it feel good? When you weren't constantly tethered to your phone, constantly checking notifications, weren't you able to think clearer, breathe easier, and just be in the moment? In this always connected world, the idea of unavailability might seem strange. We're always expected to be reachable. Our phones are like little lifelines to the world, texts, emails, social media alerts, all flashing at us 24/7. But here's the catch: being always available doesn't necessarily make us more present or productive. It often makes us stressed, distracted, and disconnected from our true selves. This is where the Stoic concept of inner freedom comes into play. Stoicism teaches that one of the highest virtues is mastering your own desires and not being ruled by external forces. Being constantly available, checking your phone, responding to messages, or even scrolling through news feeds keeps you from achieving this sense of freedom. You're not in control anymore. Your life is ruled by external stimuli, and every ping or buzz takes you further away from your inner peace. The Stoics had a term for this apatheia, which refers to a state of mind where you aren't overwhelmed by the emotions or distractions of the outside world. It's about maintaining focus and clarity, not letting the constant noise pull you in different directions. What if you could apply this principle and simply be unavailable, at least for a little while each day? Imagine stepping away from your phone when you're working, spending time with your family, or even just sitting with your thoughts. What would it feel like to not be on call all the time? Think back to a time when people didn't expect instant responses. When someone called your landline, and if you weren't home, they had to leave a voicemail. Remember how nice that felt? You could live your life, and the world would wait until you were ready to check in. There was a rhythm to it, a natural pace. We didn't feel the need to immediately respond to every text or check for every notification. Now, it's as if the world expects us to be on standby, ready to drop everything for a message or an email. It feels exhausting, doesn't it? It wasn't always like this. We used to have real boundaries. We knew when we were off, and we weren't expected to be always reachable. Today, that constant connection is the new norm, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's healthier for us. The Stoics knew the importance of reclaiming time and space for yourself. What would your day look like if you had more of that space back? Now, here's the question. What would happen if you practiced being unavailable? Could you say no to constant notifications without feeling guilty? What if your relationships and your productivity actually improved because you set clear boundaries on when you were available and when you weren't? Imagine the energy you'd have to pour into what truly matters in your life. Could you reclaim your time, focus, and inner peace simply by being unavailable? How powerful would that be? Number 3. The time thief. Detox. How often do you look at your phone, and before you know it, hours have passed? You sat down to just check one notification, and suddenly it's nighttime. We've all been there. What was supposed to be a quick scroll turns into an endless rabbit hole. From Facebook to Instagram to TikTok, it's like we're caught in a cycle of checking, scrolling, and consuming content. Time just slips away. Doesn't it feel like we've been robbed? Every minute we spend scrolling or responding to messages could be spent doing something more meaningful, reading, exercising, working on a passion project. Yet, we're all guilty of wasting hours on mindless scrolling. But here's the kicker. We don't even realize how much time we're losing until it's gone. You look back at the day, and it's like, where did it go? This is exactly what the Stoics warned us about the time thief. They taught that time is our most precious resource. Once it's gone forever. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Now, apply that to social media. How many hours of your life have been spent chasing after notifications, binge-watching videos, or worrying about posts? In the grand scheme of things, how much of that really matters? The Stoic solution to this time thief is simple. Prioritize what's truly important and actively choose how you spend your time. What if every day you made a conscious decision to limit your social media consumption? What if you decided to block off time to focus solely on things that will add value to your life, whether it's working on a new skill, spending quality time with loved ones, or simply reflecting on your thoughts without distractions? Remember when a simple walk or a chat with a friend didn't have to compete with a buzzing phone or constant notifications? When you could lose yourself in a book or work on a hobby for hours without feeling guilty about missing out? There was a time when our time was truly ours. We lived in the present moment. Now, with social media, we're constantly looking forward to the next update, the next notification. Number 4. The self-reflection. Scroll. We all know that feeling, the one that kicks in when you're scrolling through social media and you come across a post that just hits different. Maybe it's an inspirational quote that resonates with where you're at in life, or a memory that triggers a rush of emotions. For a moment, you feel this connection like this post, and everything will feel just a little bit better. Maybe you even stop scrolling for a second, think and reflect. For a moment, it feels like the universe is speaking directly to you, but then, in the blink of an eye, the feeling is gone. You're back to your mindless scrolling, getting lost in an endless feed, chasing after that next post that might make you feel something again. The cycle continues. Scan, click, scroll, repeat. You start questioning, what am I really getting out of this? This is exactly where the power of self-reflection comes in, especially when it comes to your social media habits. The ancient Stoics understood the importance of self-reflection. They believed that to live virtuously and lead a fulfilling life, you have to constantly examine yourself, your actions, your thoughts, and your feelings. You can't just let life pass you by without stopping to consider if you're living in alignment with your values. And guess what? Social media is one of the best places for this kind of self-reflection, if you know how to use it right. But here's the rub. Most of us use social media mindlessly, almost as if it's background noise to our lives. We scroll, we tap, we swipe, without ever asking, what am I actually learning about myself in this process? And even when we come across something that might spark a deeper thought, it's often fleeting. The algorithm hooks us into this endless cycle, pushing us to focus on what's next instead of taking a moment to stop and think, why did that post make me feel that way? This is where the Stoics come in again. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, would regularly ask himself questions like, what did I do today that was aligned with my principles? Or, did I act with wisdom and virtue? Stoic philosophy teaches us that if we truly want to grow and become better people, we must constantly examine our lives and correct course when necessary. And that process of questioning ourselves, that's exactly what we can do with the endless scrolling on social media. Think back to a time when scrolling through a feed didn't feel like such a fast-paced race to the next post. Remember when social media felt like a place to genuinely check in with friends and family, see how people were doing, and maybe share a little bit of yourself without feeling the pressure to perform. The simplicity was comforting. There was room for reflection, for a deep dive into your own thoughts, without the barrage of constant content. Now, it's different. Social media has transformed into a space where it's less about connection and more about consumption. We're always on the go, always looking for the next dopamine hit, the next viral moment. But the beauty of self-reflection is that it doesn't require you to scroll endlessly. In fact, the best moments of self-reflection come when you step away from that constant stream of content and start to focus on your own reactions to what's happening around you. Take a moment to think about it. When was the last time you stopped and thought about why a post made you feel the way you did? When was the last time you really asked yourself, why am I feeling jealous, frustrated, or overjoyed right now? These moments of pause are when the magic happens. That's when you can truly tap into your inner wisdom. The Stoics would argue that this is where the real work begins, taking the time to ask yourself those questions that make you dig deeper into your psyche. So, here's a thought for you. What would happen if you actively used your social media experience as a tool for self-reflection? What if, instead of just scrolling through your feed, you took a step back and reflected on your emotions after each post you saw? How would it change your social media habits if you stopped and thought, why did that picture of a friend's vacation make me feel envious? Or, what does this influencer's post about success trigger in me? By asking yourself these questions, you start to gain insights into your own emotional landscape. You'll discover the things that trigger your anxiety, your jealousy, your happiness, and you can begin to understand why. Isn't that kind of power incredible? The power to turn social media into a space for personal growth instead of just a distraction. But it requires intention. It's not enough to just scroll and hope that something deep will come from it. You have to stop, reflect, and be mindful of your responses. Think about how powerful it could be to take a moment before reacting. Every time you come across a post that triggers an emotional response, take a breath. Number 5. The emotional armor technique. It feels good when you're scrolling and come across a post that gives you a boost. Maybe it's an inspiring quote, a motivational video, or a reminder that everything's going to be okay. For a moment, you feel invincible, like you've just discovered the secret to happiness, peace, or success. The digital world feels like a constant stream of positivity, each post reinforcing that, yes, this is the life I should be living. And yet the moment you close the app, the feelings start to fade. But what if I told you that your emotional armor, the stuff that shields you from the emotional chaos of social media, was something you could build, and that it's way more powerful than any short-lived boost you get from a post? This is where the Stoic approach comes into play. The Stoics believed that we can't control what happens around us, but we can control our reactions to what happens. Think about it: every post, every comment, every like, and every meme you encounter is a trigger, a potential emotional response. In a way, social media is a battlefield of emotions, and if you're not careful, your emotional well-being can be like a soldier caught in the crossfire. That's where the emotional armor technique comes in. The Stoics were experts in building emotional resilience. Epictetus, one of the most well-known Stoics, taught that our true power lies in our ability to control our emotions. It's not that you should avoid feeling emotions, no. Emotions are natural, but rather, the Stoics taught us to choose how we respond to them. And in the context of social media, this technique can help you protect yourself from the emotional roller coaster that often comes with constantly checking your feeds. When you see a post that triggers you, whether it's jealousy, anger, or frustration, the first step is to recognize the trigger for what it is. It's not the post itself that's causing you pain, it's how you're interpreting it. Are you letting a perfectly innocent photo of someone else's vacation make you feel like you're missing out? Or are you letting a critical comment on your post make you question your self-worth? Do you remember when you could simply scroll through your feed without feeling personally attacked or emotionally drained. Back when social media was a space for fun, for connection, for sharing. Now, it's easy to get caught in the emotional whirlpool where every post seems like it's directly related to your self-esteem, your career, your body image, or your relationships. The Stoics knew how to deal with the emotional turbulence that life can throw at you. They understood that external events don't have the power to harm you unless you allow them to. In a sense, they built their own emotional armor by practicing mindfulness, self-control, and reflection. They realized that the world's ups and downs were out of their control, but their reactions to those events? That was something they could master. Imagine if you applied this to your social media habits. What would it feel like to be able to scroll through your feed, see a post that used to trigger you, and remain completely unfazed? What if every emotional response could be seen as a choice? Do I let this affect me, or do I simply observe it without attaching myself to it? This is the kind of emotional freedom that the Stoics believed in, and you can develop this same kind of strength with a little practice. The emotional armor technique is about choice, the choice to not let social media dictate your emotional state. You choose how to react. You choose to build resilience. What would that do for your mental health and your life if you could look at a post that once triggered you and simply let it slide off like water on a duck's back? Number 6. The Moment of Silence Challenge. Have you ever noticed that silence is rare these days? It's not just the noise of the world around us, but the constant noise we create for ourselves with our phones, computers, and notifications. There's always something vying for our attention, something we need to respond to, something we need to check, something we need to know. The quiet moments seem to have disappeared, and yet, deep down, we all know how powerful silence can be. It's when we sit in the quiet that we find clarity, creativity, and sometimes even our deepest insights. We can't hear ourselves think when there's a constant stream of content pulling us in every direction. This is where the Moment of Silence challenge comes in. The Stoics believed that inner peace is born from solitude and reflection. In the midst of the noise of life, it's easy to lose touch with ourselves. But the Stoics knew the value of stepping away from everything, the distractions, the noise, the constant stream of external influences, to find peace within. Take a moment and imagine the most peaceful experience you could have. No notifications, no apps, no pings, no demands on your time. Just you, in stillness. That's where clarity is found. That's where self-awareness is born. When was the last time you allowed yourself the space to be truly silent, to just be with your thoughts? Think about the times in your life when you had quiet moments. Maybe it was during a long walk, a lazy Sunday afternoon, or a peaceful evening. Do you remember how refreshing that stillness felt? You didn't need a distraction, you just needed to be. Social media doesn't give us that. It's always buzzing, always pulling us away from the quiet moments that nourish our souls. In the same way the Stoics sought solitude for reflection, we can reclaim the power of silence by taking time away from the digital world. This Moment of Silence challenge isn't just about silencing your phone for an hour. It's about intentionally seeking out moments where you disconnect, breathe deeply, and just be present with yourself. What would it feel like to hit pause on your digital life and embrace silence? Here's the challenge. What would your life look like if you committed to a daily moment of silence? What if, for just 15 minutes each day, you stepped away from the digital world and found peace in the quiet? Could you reconnect with yourself in ways you never expected? Could you start to reclaim your time, your energy, and your focus by embracing the power of silence? Number 7. The social media fast and furious. We're all familiar with fasting in the traditional sense. It's when you intentionally refrain from eating food for a period of time. But what if I told you that a social media fast could have the same transformative effects on your mind, your mood, and even your overall well-being? Imagine going an entire day, or even a whole weekend, without checking your phone, scrolling through social media, or responding to messages. No notifications, no constant checking in, no updates from the outside world. It sounds freeing, right? For a moment, it feels like you've just been handed the key to unlocking freedom from digital chaos. The idea of a social media fast is rooted in Stoic thinking. The Stoics believed in the power of restraint, the ability to step back from things that might distract you, harm you, or lead you away from your true purpose. It's not about denying yourself pleasure. Instead, it's about choosing when to engage, when to disconnect, and when to focus on your deeper values. Taking a break from social media gives you the opportunity to observe what happens when you're not constantly plugged in. How do you feel when there's no pressure to respond to every notification, when you're not comparing yourself to others? Do you feel more present, more connected to the real world around you? Do you remember a time when you didn't have to worry about your screen time or whether you were staying updated with every post? It's almost as if social media has taken over so completely that we've forgotten what life was like without it. There's something nostalgic about a time when we had a sense of real separation from the digital world. A time when a phone call or face-to-face conversation was the primary way we stayed connected. But in today's world, it's almost impossible to imagine life without social media. That's why doing a social media fast is so powerful. It gives you back control over your time. It allows you to disconnect, reflect, and come back stronger, more focused, and with a clearer sense of purpose. What would it look like if you committed to a full 24-hour or 72-hour social media fast? How would you feel when you came back, refreshed and rejuvenated? Could it change the way you engage with your digital life going forward? Could you gain a new sense of freedom and empowerment by reclaiming the time and mental energy that social media consumes? Imagine the possibilities. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video gave you some fresh insights and practical tools to help you take back control over your social media habits and live more intentionally. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on videos that dive into powerful topics like this one. Also, share this video with anyone who might need a little digital detox in their life. We all know someone who could benefit from this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below sharing your experiences with social media and how you've approached finding balance. Let's keep the conversation going and support each other in this journey. Remember, you don't need to let social media control you. You have the power to shape your experience. It's time to take control, live with intention, and make each moment count. Until next time, stay present, stay mindful, and keep embracing the power of choice.